Okay, go.
All right, hear ye, hear ye. Recess is over, and while our MC is having a little snack, I'm going to take over as temporary MC. Barb is going to come up, and Barb is an accomplished storyteller. She runs these amazing storytelling events at Nick and Ivy on the third Wednesday of every month for a very long time. And she supports all of our things, and here is her inaugural home reading right here. And she looks nervous, which is amazing. All right, it's all Barb.
Okay, so I'm a wannabe. Here it is. Perusing the newspaper, sadness washes over me. The state of my country, the state of the world, needing reminders of small joys in life. I love the clouds when they pretend they're mountains, transporting me to a favored place. Inhale, exhale, mountain air. I love a baby sky, sunset, pink and blue hues touching the clouds, calming my soul. Baby skies put a smile on my face. I love the twinkle of candlelight in my garden, a reminder of chasing fireflies, encasing them in jars with hole punched lids. I love driving through cornfields, checking to see if they are knee-high, but not mazes. Worried, not finding the exit. Turn right, Barbara. No, your other right. I love a bedtime with clean sheets, climbing in, stretching my limbs in all directions. Feel the freshness, clean cotton. I love the summer sun, high in the sky, hanging around for hours.
We will bring that.
Unlike the winter sun, hanging low, glaring at me. I love the sound of music filling the house. Alexa, play James Taylor, Fire and Rain. You know, sometimes just turning your pillow over makes all the difference in the world. Thank you all.
You have to sit with the poets too.
Okay. That was really awesome.
So you turned pro. So.
I work hard.
Okay.
Wayne, why don't you guys do the long one, and then you can see what we've got.
I'm back. I just want to give a real quick plug. How many of you here can actually say you've eaten a leprechaun?
I have.
They have these over here. They're called mythical meats, and each one is supposed to be a different mythological creature. This one's leprechaun. They've got gremlins. They've got trolls. They've got ogres. They've got griffins. They've got a phoenix. That's the really hot one. They did have. I've seen them in other places. They did have the Loch Ness Monster at one point and a werewolf, but they're good. They're very good, and they're fun. It's a fun thing. So, if you're in a chance, I highly recommend eating a leprechaun. Okay, so we're doing this one.
Yeah.
One for your stomach.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What? Are we going up there?
You're going up there.
Okay, I brought it on the big screen. All right.
So,
It up on the little screen.
for those who are a little bit new, we have done 8, 9, 10 of us over the last couple of years have done a radio theater style performance of unrelated original works that we make over at Bicentennial Park. And sometimes we were a voice in our own pieces, and sometimes we were not. And this was one that Diana had mentioned to me that she and Dwayne and Holly had done the first year, and Diana said it was so much fun, I wish we could do it again. And so they're going to do it again and get an idea of what it was that we did. And it is from the book that I just read. And I had chosen that piece for the show. The first year we did it as a variety show because it had, I think, the right amount of back and forth and some conflict. And they really did a good job. Like, they did a very good job. So they're going into the little coat, but it's also called A Little Wine for Your Stomach. It was part one, and it was the opposite side of the book. It's the family that, there's a husband called George, and he's been very sick. He's had one blood transfusion. His wife Isabella is against it. He's playing Dr. Parks, who feels he really needs more blood. She's against it, and they end up arguing about it.
Now, I'm sitting because I can't hold it at the same
That's
time.
fine.
Excuses.
And, but you guys are gonna have to use your outside voices.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Ready? A little wine for your stomach. It is late 1895 in Munsonville, Michigan, a fictional fishing village in the northern part of the state. A nomadic, religiously zealous family consisting of a father, George Clare, a mother, Isabella Clare, and their 12-year-old daughter, Marie, are stuck in the village inn because George is near death due to repeatedly vomiting large amounts of blood. George is a journalist who spent his life chasing after the big story. Isabella is an heiress who is supporting the trio. She's refused a second blood transfusion and insists on treating George's illness with wine, following the advice of the Apostle Paul, that the Apostle Paul gave to Timothy in his first letter to Timothy. Use a little wine because of your stomach. Even though the doctor treating George has ordered her to stop it, as the doctor prepares to leave, Isabella stops him and an argument ensues.
Dr. Park, please wait. He seems so weak. Are you certain the other water will help him?
Maybe, but a blood transfusion.
You and your blood transfusions. I'm so sick of hearing about blood transfusions. Look at him. Much worse since the transfusion.
Because of the wine you gave him, not the transfusion.
Wine nourishes the stomach.
Wine also eats it away.
Dr. Park, how does your fountain gush forth fresh water and bitter water? How can you bring both blessing in person?
He opened his mouth to reply, but Isabella held up her hand.
Your vile reputation is well known, even if my husband won't admit it. It is also clear the Spirit of the Lord is upon you, that He has anointed you to bring healing. Why do you persist in opposing the God who actually gave us gift?
Mrs. Clare, it's you who are blocking your husband's healing. Why do you persist in giving this man alcohol when it's clearly detrimental for him?
Not alcohol, doctor, wine. And not just any wine, not even the highly touted tonic wine, but pure wine of the highest quality, wine my own father.
Wine is still alcohol. Your husband's stomach is wounded. Giving him wine will
Bind his wounds as a Samaritan died for the poor, beaten man at the side of the road, and calm his stomach, as it did for young Timothy, disciple of Paul.
Dr. Park's features hardened and deep lines appeared near his mouth. He took a deep breath and then quoted,
He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine or vinegar of strong drink.
Dr. Parks, I'm not interested in hearing you twist scripture to support your interpretation theories. Truth lightly view must, but don't force your beliefs on us. You are here to treat my husband, not moralize.
I'm speaking as a medical doctor, as one who has observed the detriment of alcohol abuse in his patients. I implore you.
Any good medicine that's abused, Dr. Parks, will cause detriment. My own cousin developed a craving for laudanum after her physician prescribed it for insomnia. However, the wine my George drinks is not abuse. He drinks to calm his afflicted stomach. God's very word recommended it, and
Dr. Park sighed and rolled his eyes. Isabella flushed with rage, took another step, and raised her voice.
And the Messiah himself has visited and instructed us. We cannot disobey.
Mrs. Clare, please, do not give this man any more wine. I'm not even certain the infusion and bismuth will be sufficient. Not this time. He really needs more blood.
The only blood my George needs is the blood of his Savior, which comes from wine, which God himself hath given to us.
Mrs. Clare, alcohol increases acid secretion.
Wine protects the stomach.
This acid has eaten a hole in his stomach. Do you understand? The continual consumption has left this hole bleeding and raw and full of tiny spiral-shaped creatures that are having a continual feast at the peril of your husband.
Vivisectionist, sorry. Of course you know that. You dice people into bits to satisfy your morbid curiosity. The only holes in people's stomachs are the ones you brutally chop into them.
I learned about the detrimental effects of alcohol by treating its after effects in fools like you and your husband.
Get out now!
He took a breath, and then he took a longer one before speaking.
Mrs. Clare. Mrs. Clare. He's bled so much, he's in danger of death, and you won't even allow me to replace the blood. The most we can do is hope, and that is hope only, no guarantees that the fluid I've replaced, along with rest and time, will allow your husband's body to heal and recreate his own blood.
Isabella's shoulders sagged. She lowered her head, thinking or praying. Then she looked back up at Dr. Parks, her face brightening.
Yes, that is the best way, for we are fearfully and wonderfully made. I do thank you, Doctor, for being the channel of healing for my George. Don't you see? He now only needs a little wine for his stomach. Remember, God always says, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts.
No more wine.
But God himself has advised us.
Look, all scripture is based on personal interpretation. It's not as if God himself returned to earth.
But he did! The Messiah himself sat next to us on a train and spoke to us face to face, one person to another.
Mrs. Clare, do you actually expect me to believe that the Lord himself came down from heaven to join your family on a train?
Well, of course not.
Good, because I was beginning to think...
We are on our way to Denver when George became afflicted, okay? As George writhed in pain, the conductor approached us and said the Messiah was on the train. And if we so desired, he would send him for to us at once.
What?
George asked his name, and he responded with, I am. Then he asked where we stored the wine. The Messiah blessed all of it, selected one bottle, and called out for a loaf, which a customer fished out of a bag. Then he blessed the wine, gave thanks to the Father, and told George to drink. After a time, he blessed the bread, gave a portion of it to George to eat. This bread, blessed by God, did not cause him distress.
What?
He told us George's affliction was his thorn in the flesh, but he exhorted him to take a little wine for his stomach, that he may bear it. So how dare you, Doctor, to contradict the will of the Almighty?
Mrs. Clare, you've spent your lives chasing down the scoop that will make the world notice your husband's ingenuity and talents. Now why, in God's great name in heaven, did your husband not interview the Messiah when he had the opportunity? And please don't tell me the Messiah refused.
The delicate nature of George's health often interferes with timely reporting. This has been his great frustration. Why do you think we're here, if not to report on the birth of John Simon's child? And even that opportunity was stolen from us by the repugnant Henry Matthews. As for interviewing the Messiah, do you think we are gullible, naive?
The look on Dr. Parks' face showed exactly that.
Impertinence, how dare you disrespect me? Do you know who I am? Do you know who my father was? Do you realize how much money he donated to John Hopkins, Dr. Parks? We knew this man was the Messiah because other newspapers had already reported it. I'm assuming you read newspapers? A story from George about the Messiah would not be fresh news. A story about the Messiah would not advance the dream. Besides, it's too late. He's returned to the Father.
Mrs. Claire, I'm so confused.
The Messiah, he went to Mexico this year and vanished, just as he did 40 days after his resurrection.
Dr. Parks rubbed his face with both hands. Then he rose and picked up his hat and bag. After glancing at his patient with a mixture of grave concern and pity, he trudged to the door and opened it. Then he paused and turned around. His face looked kind, but the anger in his eyes, terrible.
Mrs. Claire, his stomach needs rest. If you pour him another drop, I'll send for the constable. Okay, would anybody like to go up for round 2? You got anything else, Ed?
Yeah, I do. I've got okay.
Come on up.
But I've also got tater tots. Does anyone want to share some tater tots? Position. It's a short one.
You need tater tots.
So, I've been trying, since I joined this group, I've been trying to sit with poets over there. Well, you know, I've written a few, but always they're from another character. So it's really tough to take credit for a poem that a character of yours wrote, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I have.
So let me just go, I attribute this to anyone that, to a character named Trudy. Trudy, you remember Trudy, right? Yes. It's called logging. Logging. A sacred site, so come inside. There's grounds to hunt and homes to hide. The forests of the realm abide, that trees shall serve souls soulfully. We also serve your creature care. You taste our breath, You taste our fruit, you breathe our air. And your want of wood, we don't despair. Say we should serve you soulfully. Divine the grace that grows our girth. How sweet the sun. How tart the earth. How holy had a human birth. That's why we serve you soulfully. When woodsmen come to fall a tree, feel droplets of our sympathy and comprehend serenity. That's how we've served you soulfully. I'm going to sit with the poets there.
Wayne, Timothy wants to read something.
Oh, please, come on up. Timothy. Come on here and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I think everyone knows me here, maybe. I'm Timothy. I'm not a writer by any means, but I was standing in the back there, and actually I've known some of you a long time now, right? And I think the last time I did an open mic, Tom introduced me actually, right? He was standing off to the left, and he introduced me. And I did not plan on reading tonight, but I actually wrote this. We visited Tom before he passed away a few times. And
He passed away a few times.
no, but we visited him a few times before he passed. But I was actually sitting next to him kind of when I wrote this, and I thought, You know, maybe a little Tom tonight, right? So we don't forget him. I once knew a man who liked flowers, grass, and trees, wrote stories that would please, and bounced grandkids on his knees. He wasn't very perfect, but perfect enough indeed. See, what's the point of dying if you don't jump at being alive? And here I have to say is where my friend did thrive. Now, I wouldn't call him perfect. He definitely wasn't that. But he was the kind of guy who'd always have your back. What's the point of living if someday it's going to end? The point is people like Tom, a very good friend.
Never forgotten. Never. Okay. Anybody else want to go? Steve, you said you had something?
Yeah, I have more. I bought a couple extra in case.
You're next on the list, so come on up.
What?
You're still next on the list after Ed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This next piece I brought two more with me, but I'll just read this one. It's an old one I wrote, and everyone seems to always like.
I can eat all day, man. There we go.
I did that after
Sorry. The stripper cake.
That was worth it.
Greer was pissed. The space inside the cake was too small for him. His legs were going to fall asleep if he didn't get out soon. How the hell did strippers sit in these things all so long? He squatted inside the wooden cake shop, his hands clutching a pair of pistols. Of course, Greer was 6.5 feet tall and over 240 pounds. He debated getting out and forgetting the whole thing. He couldn't breathe in a confined space, and sweat ran down his back, a sensation he truly hated. His boss, Old Abe, did not pay him enough for this shit. 3 knocks against the shell caught Greer's attention. He recognized Trevino's muffled voice coming from the outside. It's time. Finally, Greer let out a deep sigh. The cake shell lurched forward on its casters. Greer's left hand scrambled along the side of the cake to keep his balance. Crap! What a stupid idea. The pistol tumbled out of his hand, lodging between his knee and the side of the cake shell, digging into his thigh. Greer ignored the pain and closed his eyes. The music grew louder as he rolled forward, along with jeers and catcalls of the men at the party. Greer grabbed the pistol when the cake stopped moving. He smiled as the music began to change and a bunch of men joined in a loud, off-key rendition of Happy Birthday. This was a breath of surprise Tony and his boys would not forget. He waited until the song died down and the catcalls resumed, then sat straight up. He ignored the pops on his knees as his head broke through the paper cup of cap of the cake at the top of the cake shell. He glanced around at the half-dozen drunk men around the cake, their looks of lust changing to fear as they realized it wasn't a stripper popping out of the cake. Greer! Tony yelled, the birthday boy. Blubbered, his eyes growing wide. He stood at the front of the group. Happy birthday, Tony, Greer rasped, his lips pulled back in a twisted grimace. Greer raised the pistols and squeezed the triggers. Tony tried to run in 3 different directions at once and ended up falling backwards, screaming. The first blast of water from the pistols hit him in the face. Greer grinned as he emptied the water pistols into Tony. Most of the party goers behind Tony began to laugh. A few not in on the gag stared. Tony cringed for a moment until he realized what happened. He sat in a puddle of water, not all of it from the water pistols, his jaw hanging open. His eyes settled on Greer. "You son of a bitch!" More laughter quickly erupted. A couple of the guys helped Tony to his feet. Greer stood there in the cake, shoulders quivering as he started to control himself. Tony glared at him for a few more seconds. Greer watched as Tony lost his struggle not to break into a smile. He began to laugh with the others. Greer waited until the laughter ended and he raised his hands. "Boys, there's more fun across the hall. The girls are waiting." Greer stood in the cake shell as the others filed out and called Tony. "Hey, come here and help me out of this thing." "Christ, too late. I thought for a second old Abe sent you to finish me off." Greer clutched Tony's arm as he climbed out of the cake. As he landed on his feet, he pulled Tony against him. Tony gasped as Greer's blade slid between his ribs. He pounded against Greer's chest for a moment and then went left. "Old Abe sends his warmest regards, Tony," Greer whispered in his ear. Greer picked him up and, as if he weighed nothing, and tossed him into the cake shell. Trevino, a small gray-haired man in a tan suit, came inside from a side door. Without a word, he pushed the cake shell out the door. Greer walked over to the other banquet room. Better be sure the noise none of the boys witnessed what happened here. Tony. In the other room, the boys cheered as two topless dancers moved around to an old 70s tune. Greer smirked to himself. Good, they have no clue. As he turned around to exit, one of the partygoers called him. "Hey Greer, where did Tony go?" Greer looked over his shoulder. "He is checking out dessert."
Okay.
Want to do Beast of Venice? Here?
Yes.
All right.
Beast of Venice. Just by way of an introduction, this is one of my favorite movies. Is The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. It's one of the earliest movies that features the special effects of the incomparable Ray Harryhausen, and it was actually based on a story by Ray's friend Ray Bradbury, and they got the idea for the movie, but they didn't remember where they got it from, and they asked Ray Bradbury to come in and take a look at the script, and he read it and he said, "You realize this is almost exactly like a story that I wrote for the Saturday Evening Post." And they're like, "Okay." Well, he sold them the rights and he changed it from The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms to The Foghorn. And he told the story about how he came up with the idea for the Foghorn. Him and his wife were at Venice Pier, and they came across what was left of an old roller coaster lying there on the beach.
Don't get the whole thing away.
No, this is just the introduction.
Okay, all right.
It's a variation of it.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. All right.
And he thought it looked like a dinosaur skeleton. And one night they were lying in bed and they heard the foghorn going off, and he said, "That's what happened to the dinosaur. He came up onto the beach, heard the foghorn, thought it was another dinosaur, came up to investigate, found out it was just a lighthouse, tore down the lighthouse and went back into the sea. And he said his wife was careful not to answer him or say anything because she understood how writers' minds work. But I got to thinking, what if she wasn't so understanding? What if she didn't quite understand? And this is what we came up with.
That's what he came up with.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be the not understanding wife.
But you do well. You play your part.
Yeah, you do a great job not understanding.
Ray, why did you drag me to this old pier? This place is dangerous. Those old rides could cause tetanus. I know you're into some weird stuff, Ray, but that doesn't mean I have to be too. Why can't we go someplace we can both enjoy, not just...
I wonder what that dinosaur is doing there lying on the beach.
Can't we ever go to what?
That dinosaur. See a skeleton there on the sand?
That's a roller coaster.
No, it's not. It's a dinosaur.
You're weird, Ray. Ray, what are you doing? Come back to bed.
Of course. That's it.
What's it?
That dinosaur. Rising from the depths after 1 billion years of slumber.
What dinosaur?
The one at the Venice Pier. It heard...
What are you talking about?
I'll tell you if you'll just listen.
Don't tell me to shut up.
I'm not. I'm telling you to listen.
You're telling me to shut up.
Anyway, it heard the foghorn blowing, thought it was the sound of another dinosaur, and swam into shore, hoping for an encounter with another of its kind.
You're weird, Ray. That's a fucker. Sorry, it closed. I was going from memory. Anyway, go ahead, do the foghorn part again. I'm sorry.
Anyway, it heard the foghorn blowing, thought it was the sound of another dinosaur, and swam into shore, hoping for an encounter with another of its kind.
That's a foghorn.
I know that. I just said it was a foghorn. Then when it discovered he was nothing but a damn lighthouse...
You kiss your mother with that mouth?
Yes, I do. Then the dinosaur tore the whole lighthouse down, crawled up on the beach, and died of a broken heart.
You're weird, Ray.
It's a lot better with the sound effects, trust me.
Yes.
I have them on my phone, I should have did them.
Okay.
I have them on my phone.
Who else has got it in?
Let's see.
What? Oh.
Yeah, so,
Anybody else?
take off. Bye.
Anybody? Nobody? If not, I guess that's it then.
We're giving away one
Oh, yes.
anthology electronic book, which is our gracious guest tonight. Other side, maybe? Folded, something?
Oh,
Maybe.
it's the brain cell that I have. It says Danny, I don't know what that means.
That's Danny.
Okay.
Oh,
You won. Hey.
Good seeing you.